Hey, everybody, welcome to another wonderful episode of Wellness Blueprints. I'm Jess Milner. I'm so happy you're here to nourish your roots with me. So, if you are watching me on YouTube, you can see that I have my navy blue witch hat on today. This is going to be a fun one. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, awesome. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you have a moment, you want to check it out, check me out. So, I absolutely adore wearing my witch hats during this time of year. And I do wear them other times of the year too, because they're fantastic hats. This is nice and warm. It's actually like wool, it's bendy. You can like fold it up and everything. I have one in black and then I have one in pink that I can wear, at the beach and stuff because it's more made out of straw. So it's not like hot. And I always get good compliments on them and stuff. They're fun. I like to be festive. But today's episode is not about my hat. Today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about that. I share about this every year, so I figured I gotta get it onto Wellness Blueprints. So I want to talk about the Switch Witch. Okay, so Halloween is coming, and especially, this works really well for younger kids. I didn't do it the whole time. It was many years ago that I started doing it, but when my kids were super, super little, I didn't know about this yet. So this was not my idea, the Switch Witch. I did not, come up with this idea, but I really, really like this idea because it is an alternative. It's a way that as parents we can allow our kids to have this fun of going trick-or-treating and collecting candy, and having a good time, and not have to worry about them like going insane eating candy, like in mass quantities for the next however many days or weeks following Halloween. Oh my gosh, I'm just looking across the room and there's a spider on the wall. How Halloween like. Welcome to October. Okay, so the Switch Witch. So basically, what happens is you take your kids out trick or treating or to the trunk or treat or a combination of both, and they collect their candy. They have a good time. They get to, experience running around the neighborhoods and, and doing all of those things, uh, building great core memories and stuff like that. It's always fun to go trick or treating. So you take your kids out, and then so you have a couple of choices here because I mean, you can kind of do this however you want to. It's just sort of like, the general idea. So sometimes I will get like some organic candy, like I'll get, some Unreal or Yum Earth or something like that. I'll have some options so that they can swap some things out. There's also maybe some things that I would be like, okay, like that's not the greatest, but you can go ahead and keep that one. Let them pick out a couple of chocolates or something like that. And then, so, they have some candy, and you can decide how many pieces of candy you want everybody to be able to hang on to. Sometimes they get like little bags of, like little snacky s'mores, oh, what am I thinking of? Like, but sometimes they have like the little Annie's bags of like the bunnies or something like that. Like you will get like little bags of popcorn. Like I've seen like bags of Smart Food and stuff like that. So, you can make your decision on how many pieces of candy or whatever, that you want the kids to hang on to or trade for like, the organic candy. And of course, you can decide not to let them keep any candy at all. For me, I was like, well, I don't want to take away the whole candy idea, so, like it's okay, like for them to do a little bit there. Usually I would replace it with something organic, but that's up to you. It's whatever you want to do. For the most part, I mean, the kids look at everything. They go, "This has dyes. We know we're not keeping that one." And they put it aside. So that's pretty much like that's my biggest rule in my house. And then there are some things I'll look at it and I'll be like, I know there's no dyes in this, but and I know you don't know what these words are, but it's just this isn't food, and just I can't let you put it in your mouth. Um, and they're usually pretty good about that. So let them choose out, how switch out with something like that. And so then you have this giant like hump, like lump of candy here, right? You've got this like, so I will put it in like a box. Usually we like stick it into, whatever like cardboard box we have or something like that. The kids might write Switch Witch on it, draw a picture or something like that. So you put all the candy into the box. And then the kids on Halloween night, before they go to bed, they will go out, they'll take their candy outside and put it like right outside. We used to do it on the front porch at our old house in New Jersey. Now we have a much bigger porch here, so we'll just like go stick it on the table out there. So whatever, you put it out for the Switch Witch. If you live in an area where you have lots, like if you're in Alaska and if you put something like that out, you're gonna have a moose on your front porch. Okay, so maybe you figure out where the best place is to leave it for the Switch Witch in your house. It may be different, and that's okay. But we do put ours outside. I suppose we're in Idaho. We could have a moose. I mean, I've seen moose. I mean, we've definitely had them here in our yard. So It's a possibility. They typically don't come that close to the house though. But so you put that out and then the kids go to bed. And so the switch witch comes during the night and she takes the candy and she leaves gifts behind. So it's your discretion on what you want. The first couple years that we did this, I think like I sent my husband to Walmart and yeah, I was like, oh, find four things that are gonna, those we have four kids, around in the, the $5, $6 range. And he did. Like he managed to find like two Barbie dolls and like, whatever little thing, and he's like, okay, well, I'm like, all right, that sounds good. Let's wrap it up. So, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can make it little gift cards. You could do big gifts. You could do little gifts. My kids don't expect huge gifts for this. They just expect, something. The one year, because my daughters were getting a little bit older and I think that they were kind of on to me. So, I got them like some kind of little craft something or another like book or maybe it was like a bracelet maker, I don't know, but it really wasn't very expensive, so I went ahead and like threw $5 into each of theirs as well, so they had a little bit of money. So I mean, like whatever it is, like you can decide what you want to do for this. If you have really little kids, you're probably going to find like some cute little toys, or something like that, or maybe like something really inexpensive that's like on their Christmas list or something like that. And then or maybe like there's like one thing for like everybody, like maybe you get like a new game to play. Oh my gosh, that spider's now on the ceiling. That's so funny. Hello, Spidey. Um, so yeah, I mean, maybe you get like, a new game that you guys can play on family game night or something, or like a new movie to watch or so, I mean that, you can, it's really your discretion on what you want to do. But that's the whole premise of it. So sometimes like I have left like a note from the Switch Witch saying like, oh, thank you so much for leaving out your candy. I'm going to take this and give it to children who don't get candy, or it's going to this, or I'm donating it to I mean, you can make up whatever you want. Maybe she turns it into something magical so that it's not something bad for your teeth. Sometimes people say the Switch Witch works for the dentist and they want to make sure that you're not eating too much candy, so they give you a gift instead. You can really make up whatever story you want. Because like this isn't, like there are certain things, like Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, that, it's a little bit more well known. But with this one, it's got, you can do whatever you want with it. So yeah, so this is great. We've been doing this, oh my goodness, probably for at least it's got to be at least 4 years, 5 years, 5 years probably that we've been doing this. And I just really, really like this idea because we were always kind of like, I can't let the kids eat all of this. And, what am I going to do with it all? So, okay, so now of course you're thinking to yourself, well, what do you do with the candy, Jess? Like, where's it go? What do you do with it? Okay, so for me, my husband throws it in his truck and takes it to work. He works in construction and the guys will just gobble up candy all day long and, they're adults. So, so he used to, when we lived in New Jersey, he would take it down to the shop and, leave it in there and the guys would just, they had candy. And of course they had kids too, most of them. So, there was just, candy all over the place, but, adults can make their own decisions and everything. So, some people just throw it out. Some people do take it and donate it somewhere. I think that there are places you can donate it for like armed forces and things like that. So by all means, whatever you want to do with it, however, whatever makes you feel good, whatever gives you a warm fuzzy inside, go ahead and do that with it. So this year, I'm not really sure what I am thinking to do in terms of gifts for the kids. I haven't really given it too much thought yet. I mean, it's probably just going to be something that like, I grab on Amazon, um, and just put out, I'll stick that out on the table for them and they're happy with it. The older kids, maybe I would give them, like, a gift card or, or some cash. They do like to go to the store and buy their own snacks, or they want to go and like buy, like my girls like to buy the little, the fake nails with the glue and put those on and stuff like that. So, well, I'll figure it out, but it's still, I'm not spending more than $10 per kid on something like this. And that's even, I mean, 5 years ago, whatever I'm spending $10 on now would have been $5, right? So, yeah, so I mean, that's what we've been doing, and it's really so much fun. The kids really do actually, they really took to it pretty well. I think when we first started it, my girls must have been like 5 or 6 when we started it. So, they were still young enough that they were like on board with that sort of thing. So my youngest now is 6, so he's, totally on board with that, and he will not be listening to this podcast. Um, But yeah, so I think that it's just a really fun way to, so that, because some parents, and you can choose whatever you want to do with your kids, of course, it's your family. But some parents are very hesitant to go trick-or-treating because they don't want the tears when the kids can't have all of the things that they were hoping to have. Or like, oh, we're not allowed to have all of these candies and you're going to take it away from me, or forbid me from having it. What's the point of going? I don't like this. And then they just don't like the holiday. And so it can really just create a lot of stress and drama around the holiday. So this was a really cool way because, before, like I said, I mean, I was just kind of like, okay, no, we don't eat all this stuff. So here, let me just trade it out for you with this organic stuff and then we'll get rid of the rest. So like we were really kind of doing the same thing, but this made it so much more fun. So they would wake up November 1st, they wake up and they're like, oh, let's go see, and they go out and, get to open up their stuff. And, it's just that one thing, but they've always really enjoyed that. And then and then we'll set up our altar for Day of the Dead after that. So um, this really has turned into like a tradition for us. I'm kind of thinking that even, as my kids go into their teenage years and everything, they're still going to be like, I'm not going to eat all this. Can we trade this in? Can I leave this out for the switch switch? And you know what? If they're going to put a bunch of it out there, I mean, if it still gives them joy, yeah, mama's going to come through because if it brings them joy, I mean, that's all there is to it. I want to see the joy on their faces, and I want to minimize their toxic load, but I also don't want to shame them into thinking that I don't want them thinking ill of their friends who go out and eat all the candy. I don't want them to be like, oh my God, she's gonna get so sick and she's so gross and I can't believe her mom does it. No, 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 no. No, we don't play that game here. Because that's not a helpful attitude. We choose to live the way that we do. We understand the things that we do, and other people choose different things. And maybe they know, maybe they don't. It doesn't matter. Everybody is going to be the way that they are. They're going to choose what they want to do. So whatever is right for your family, keep doing it. But for me, I just love this because I can bring joy to my kids' faces. And, not all of their friends do it. So it is something that, like my daughter will text her friend and be like, look what the Switch Witch left me. And she'll be like, oh my gosh, the Switch Witch never came to my house. It's so weird. How come it didn't come to my house? I still have all my candy though. Yeah, but I got this. I got this money and blah, blah, blah. So, it works itself out. So if this is something, if you've been kind of going, oh my gosh, what are we going to do about trick or treating? Because, it is like I told her, we were talking about it last week. Like this is the first of like the big sugar holidays and everything, here we go. It's a cold and flu season, which is really toxic load season. So the more sugar you have, the more chances you have to having to detox all of these things. And then you're not feeling so well. And I don't want you to be sick for any holidays. I don't want you to be sick when you're supposed to be having some turkey with your friends and family on Thanksgiving. I don't want you to be sick for Christmas or for Hanukkah or for New Year's. I don't want any of that. So these are just some ways that you can lower your toxic load. You can lower your toxic load for yourself, for your kids. I can only just hope that my husband doesn't eat too much of the candy. He probably doesn't. I mean, whatever. He doesn't really get sick all that often. But this is just one of the ways. So switch. Love it. Love the whole idea. So I don't know whose idea it was at first. So hats off to you. Can I even take yeah, hats off? uh, Floppy hats don't do that as well. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today for this episode of Wellness Blueprints. I'm so glad that you were here today. I'm Jess Milner, Master Nutritionist, Functional Bloodwork Specialist, and Quantum Energy Healer. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please leave me a 5-star review if you enjoyed this and tell your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you would like to download my free resource guide, you can go to jess.deeprootedwellnessid.com/resources, capitalize that R. And I will see you right back here next time on our next episode of Wellness Blueprints. I hope that you are enjoying the month of October, and my heart is there for all of those who are not. And just that's kind of sobering there, but I got to give a little shout out. I love everybody that's dealing with all the things right now. Okay. All right, everybody, have a absolutely wonderful week and enjoy your Halloween. And I'll be back next week. It'll still be before the Halloween, but enjoy this season. Love you guys.